Welcome to the Hire Yourself Podcast. My name is Pete Caffell, and I'm here with my business partner, Nat True. We're all about helping people become better business people or just become business people. Good morning, Nat.
Good morning, Pete.
Oh, am I pumped up today?
You're always pumped up. I want what you're having.
I am always pumped up. So I went to, I'm a car guy, right?
Yeah.
So I went to the auto show.
Oh, really?
Oh, I got to tell you, I love cars, and I go to the auto show, because I love touching and feeling cars. It is so cool where cars are going.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like it is kind of like those movies we used to watch growing up. Like the cars are becoming very futuristic, right?
Yeah, right. Well, certainly a lot of attention now at the auto show in regards to EV vehicles, as you could expect. I mean, that's kind of the trend where it's going. But just the technology in these vehicles, the design, they're just more edgy. I mean, it's just so cool. And I think the thing is there's something out there for everybody, right? If you can actually get one. I mean, shortage of chips in cars, but I mean, if you want something specific, there's so many cool options out there.
Yeah. I agree. There is something for everybody. And the car show is amazing in Chicago. That's a big one.
Yeah. And I just, I like it's a great atmosphere. I could just go get lost there. My wife does not enjoy that same thing. And I come back with about like 3 or 4 cars that I want to invest in. So I was thinking about this, right, is that, as we think about franchising, that's also it's got explosive growth. And franchising now is in almost every industry, touching every category. So I thought what we'd do today is maybe talk about some franchise concepts that maybe you'd never thought of, like the industries that they play and what they do, and then maybe how they take something and make it niche-y, right? So, kind of like what the car industry is, I experienced at the auto show. So let's start out. And, I used this example before. And we talked about it, about a workout, right? I remember I shared the workout where I went and did the workout, and instead of just using weights and all that kind of stuff, they use electrodes to stimulate your muscles and hack working out, right? So as you look at me, you can tell I probably haven't done enough of those workouts, but That's amazing how they took an industry, boutique fitness, and they've cut out their niche, used technology to hack the workout. That's what I'm talking about, how things are just changing so fast.
Yeah. And the big part of their value proposition is saving people time, right? Because instead of, having to work out for 1 hour or 2 hours, it's like, isn't it like 20 minutes or something like that?
It's 20 minutes twice a week. You can only do 20 minutes twice a week, right? So, and that's equivalent to each 20 minutes is equal to 3 hours in the gym, right? Yeah. So then you say, Pete, well, why aren't you doing the 20 minutes? but that's, and it's amazing to me how, people come up with ideas like that and then kind of build a business around it.
Yeah. I was going to tease you that when you said, why aren't you doing the 20 minutes? I was going to say, hey, you're probably out washing your car. But I think like there's a niche franchise that is doing that too, right?
Yeah. Well, we talked about, and we've done that podcast with the gentleman that came up with the idea how to wash cars without water. Right. So you don't have to go to a car wash. They'll come to your house, or you go to a little pop-up area at Costco and they'll wash your car without water. Now, how do you come up with an idea like that? Right.
I don't know. I thought that was pretty genius myself.
Yeah. Right. And I've tried the product. So I actually got some of the product, and it works. It's absolutely amazing to me. And I'm very picky about how clean my cars are. The stuff actually works.
Yeah. I know last time I saw you by your car, you're like apologizing. My car's a little dirty. I'm sorry.
Well, I got a little road salt on it, stuff. Yeah, just from a standpoint. But that's an example of, again, taking an industry that has been very old, that hasn't changed at all, and then you change it up. I mean, the idea that you can go to the airport and as you're gone in the parking ramp, they can come clean your car so that when you come back, your car is clean. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I would love that. I hope that they open up a franchise close to me soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Or come to your garage, your home, stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool. One of the things I was thinking about the other day is, you read about all this mental health and how, as everybody's been locked up with COVID-19, this protocol and, it's weighing heavily on people. And so I think a little bit about the franchise that they've taken mental health, for families, and created a franchise where now we can come into communities and offer mental health services. And that's definitely something that we're way behind in. There isn't enough resources in regards to mental health. And it's fun to see a franchise go out there and kind of build it so that you could have a family mental health center right in your community.
Yeah, I think that is kind of a disruptive concept. It's almost like not a great analogy, but kind of almost reminds me of when oil change franchises came out like 40 years ago. Like there really wasn't an oil change franchise before that. And then with Ellie, there really was never a mental health franchise before these guys.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to watch that.
Well, and literally, I think they open up. I was having a conversation with them. I think they literally open up and they fill up immediately, and you're on to the next location. So It's just, there's so much need for that. And I think they've certainly found a way to address that. So cool from that standpoint. I don't know if I was telling you the other day, one of down the street, a house caught on fire. Fortunately, the people weren't there, but the house is pretty burnt up, right? And I thought a little bit about one of the franchises where they go in where you've had an event like that, smoke damage or fire, and they'll go in and basically get all the electronics out of the house.
Yep.
They'll test the electronics to see if they should be replaced or they should be fixed. They also do the same thing, like if you had a family photo over the mantle, they can actually repair that photo. Right? There are franchises that take, something that's really bad happen and they can make it a little better for people.
Yeah. Thank God that there are those kind of businesses, right? Otherwise, people you wouldn't be able to recover that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. So one of my son, I don't know if I told you, he's got a job, right? And I'm trying to convince him to move out of the house, right? So, or simply put, get off the payroll, man. You're making money, right?
Right.
So he started to look at these apartments, or condos. And one of the things I thought back is we interviewed that franchise company that actually they do the trash valet, right? Mm-hmm. Where they, because I hated when I lived in an apartment when I was younger, the idea of taking my trash and taking it all the way down to the dumpster, because I was on like the third floor in my apartment. That's another example of a franchise that kind of a niche. Who would think of trash valet, where I take your garbage from your apartment door and take it down to the dumpster? That's so cool.
Yeah, there's all these little niches, it's like talking about trash, even just like, I think there's a franchise that kind of reinvented dumpsters. They attached a porta pot to a dumpster. Right. And then you get like a 2-for-1 instead of having to call as a contractor, instead of having to call two different companies, you just make one phone call, boom, you got your porta pot and you got your dumpster. So,
right. And if you're a builder or a contractor, this idea I only have to call one person, right? Mm-hmm. And in the idea that you attach a porta potty to the rollaway dumpster is so cool, right? Because there's no way that porta potty can get knocked over. Right, because that would be a crappy situation if it got knocked over.
Exactly.
Bad humor from that standpoint. I don't know if you remember, a few years back, you and I went and visited a franchise here in Chicago. We drove out and took a look at it. Do you remember where we went to that supermarket?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a regular supermarket. It was a metal supermarket. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was, they had all that cool, cutting equipment to cut metal and everything.
Yeah. Well, who would think of a supermarket where I can go, if I need any type of special metal cut a certain way, that I can go do that?
I guess they're super busy. All these light industrial and all these places need metal parts.
Yeah, right. And I don't have any kind of aptitude that comes to that kind of stuff. But
it kind of makes me think, a lot of times, we're talking to our candidates and we kind of were like, hey, I have an idea. They're like, well, I certainly didn't roll out of bed this morning thinking I was going to be, XYZ or metal supermarket.
But they come in so many different forms. I think a little bit about the housing market. It's just booming. I mean, I read about these prices going up and stuff like that. And there's now a franchise, Nat, that they will basically help you get your house ready to sell. but not like the normal staging. They will go in there and update, because the kitchens and the bathrooms, in a way in which it's just designed to make the house more appealing, photo ready, right? So
Yeah.
they don't move walls or anything else like that, but they may change the color of your kitchen cabinets, or change out a few things. And it's really cool to me. And really, the customer is not, in many cases, it's the realtor encouraging the person selling the house just to do a few updates to make the house look current. That's pretty amazing to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like instant HGTV or something like that, right? You get the updated latest and the greatest.
Yeah, right. So you can make your house just with some small changes with paint and maybe some tile and stuff like that. That makes a big difference. And that when you put money into a bathroom and stuff like that, or a kitchen, you get the money back. And this is designed not for me as the person selling it, because I'm going to live there, but more so just to make it more appealing. It's so cool.
Yeah, let the experts do it, right? And then you don't have to get all emotional. And then usually, I know whenever I'm doing a remodeling, it's just kind of like that good, better, best. But I'm always like, well, for like an extra 15%, we could put in the best. And it's like all like get the scope creep and all that. But it's nice to have, like, I'm guessing that these guys are kind of like, this is really what's kind of middle of the road, or what would be most bang for your buck type scenario, right?
Well, and you don't want to put a bunch of money into a house you're going to sell. Right.
Yep.
You want to just have that transformation as cheap as you can, from a standpoint, not cheap quality, but just cheap in terms of the cost of the project. So that makes a lot of sense. Talk about protecting your assets, or doing that kind of stuff. Now, Nat, there's a franchise out there that when you look at all those parking lots and they're kind of worn down, that they will maintain the asphalt in parking lots. They do all the striping, the handicap striping, or if I want to put my logo there, or what safety lines, they do all that kind of stuff. I never thought there was a franchise that would do asphalt maintenance.
Yeah, you always kind of, and you always, like, franchising really a lot of times is a consolidation of mom and pop industries. I was going to say, you always kind of think of it as more of a mom and pop. I bet that's a pretty good franchise, because I think those lines have to be painted like every couple of years or so, right?
Well, and asphalt, if you don't
seal coating
if you don't take care of your asphalt, it deteriorates, and that's just an expense. And people don't want to pull into a parking lot where it looks terrible, right? It's a representation of your business, and so if they can invest money to maintain it, it makes a lot of sense. That's so cool. Another kind of fun one is when my kids were in high school, they always would do these fundraising things where we're buying popcorn or, all this crap.
Yeah, I feel like, we used to keep a stack of 20s by the front door, because you knew sooner or later someone's going to come by selling something, right?
Yeah, right. And it's just it's heck on the kids. It's hard on the parents, because you gotta kick in, and it's a quid pro. So when my neighbor's kid comes down, I do something, and when I send my kid down there, it's kind of that kind of stuff. And so it's a
pro quo is a very good term for that.
It's a vicious circle, right? So now there's a franchise where they organize that for the coaches, for the schools, to do the fundraising, but they do it around more of an event, opposed to knocking on people's doors and trying to sell them candy bars, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, and they probably have technology and stuff like that, so you could actually give online, or different things like that, which would be really, really helpful, because these days you don't honestly always have a cash laying around.
Right. And I think the idea is that a coach, they don't want to be in the business of fundraising. They want to have somebody else do it, so they're not managing.
It's part of the reason why I actually stopped coaching like Little League baseball, because as the head coach, all of a sudden you're like coaching, everything's going great, and then all of a sudden you have like this fundraiser that you're having a quarterback for a couple of weeks. It's like, good God, I'm like a volunteer. This is a lot of work to do this fundraiser.
Yeah, right. Can I just cut a check so I don't have to do this, right? So
exactly,
from the standpoint. So I think the fun thing is that franchising now is nichey. You could take something as simple as gutters, right? Where there's companies that do all kinds of different services, and somebody may take a gutters and just, that's the only thing we do, and we do it really well. That's interesting to me.
There's that famous saying that there's riches and niches. And so I do see a lot of times franchising gets pretty nichey. And, a lot of times franchising is like a sales and marketing engine, right? So it's easier, I think, to market a niche also. So yeah, there's all kinds of unusual things, and it's fun to see the evolution of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's fun. It'll be fun to watch because I think we're going to see more and more of this. So I appreciate everything today. I got to go buy a car, so I got to get out of here today. I haven't decided which one, but I'm in the mood after going to that auto show to get something, or at least reserve something. In today's world, I guess we reserve and wait 6 months to get it. So
all right, let me know what you decide.
All right, thanks. Have a great day.